Nobody's listening, right? Hi, Andy.
Good
Day,
afternoon.
sir.
Good morning. Hello.
Is anybody out there? Is there a soul out there listening?
You know what? I'm going to be able to tell you in one sec.
Okay.
If nobody or somebody.
Somebody. I
listening.
love these somebodies.
You know my memory. We talk about it a lot. Sometimes it's not the best. What is our target review number to take down Mr. Eckhart Tolle?
Well, it was 2.8.
It was.
But
he recruited his minions to boost his numbers.
I don't think so. I do have to plug his latest episode though, because it's like it's a live recording of him. And you know, we've joked about his like if he has a sense of humor and stuff. And the intro to this episode is very funny because he's speaking to like what's that called?
A ghost? A figment of his imagination?
No, he's speaking to like a large auditorium.
Oh,
and
yeah. He's doing one of his public events.
He's doing a public event. But he's so funny because he talks about enlightenment and he makes all these jokes at the top about like,
is he doing like crowd work or not
yes.
crowd work, but he's doing bits?
There was some crowd work.
There's crowd work too?
And it really made me laugh.
What's going on with your life today, huh?
He's like, now all of us here are here and we might be spiritually enlightened or some of us are not. Laughter.
Wait, what? Whoa. Why are people laughing
Hang on,
at that?
let me continue. Because you are not here of your own free will. Laughter.
Laughter.
Because your friend said you must come with me to this event. Laughter. In which case, you might find it interesting, or you might find it painfully, excruciatingly boring. Laughter.
Oh, I love that little man. Wow.
I love it. Okay.
Wow, that's great. Okay, we got some people listening. Okay, this one jumps out at me because I see ye old Canada.
Canada.
Such a funny podcast. I'm absolutely listening. St. Monica got me hooked, and I'm only in episode 20 and have laughed till I cried on several occasions.
Aww.
These two are incredible. Love, love, love. Love, love, love you, CH Mountain from Canada. Wow. Okay, this one's from Chrissy. Love you both. I love listening to you both. Long-time listener of all your pods.
Aww.
And feel like you all are my friends that just don't know me yet. So relatable. Heart sign with
Christy.
hands. I didn't know that emoji existed.
Do you know, I've been kind of using it a little bit lately.
Well, not to me. Whoa.
No, but
Who are you using that to?
Like friends.
Hand me your phone.
You're at my phone's recording this right now. You know, I use it with. It's not really.
Have you sent it to a man? Have you sent it to a man?
Maybe, but by the way, Andy.
Yeah.
This is not a romantic. Even though on Love Island they do it constantly in the opening.
Yeah.
This is like just like love. It's not really romantic love. It's not like how I'm always sending you eggplants and water droplets and.
Gross. Okay.
Just kidding.
Did I finish that one? I think.
Christy?
So relatable, hand heart sign. Thank you for the laugh until you can't breathe moments and everything in between.
That's so nice.
That's so sweet. Yeah, so that's there's people listening. To everybody leaving reviews.
Yes.
We really, really appreciate it. And you know what's so funny? And I think we know this going in. We've been in the podcast game for a minute. We know that these reviews are important. They really do help. What do they call that? With the algorithm or something like that?
Yeah.
But it's funny. I've been like looking into this stuff a little bit. I've just been geeking out on the data and stuff a little bit more. And it is a big deal. And I'm like, oh, it's so sweet that everybody really does this. Because number one, it helps us. Number two, we know that you're listening. Number three, it makes us feel good inside.
It does.
It's gassing us up in every way, which way possible.
Gassing us up. Oh my God.
So we're What's another thing from like Love Island? We're gassed up. We're
Chuffed.
buzzing.
We're buzzing.
We're chuffed. We're buzzing.
But let me just say this.
Please.
I want to send an apology out to all of our somebodies and nobodies out there. For the next 2 months, all of our episodes are going to be just laden with terminology from Love Island that doesn't fit us. It doesn't roll off the tongue naturally. But we're so in it with those people, those contestants this season right now and I don't think this is like a favorite season.
I don't even care. That's the thing that I've realized now about that show. I'm ride or die with Love Island. UK, let us make it very clear.
Yes.
We've never watched the American
Never
version.
would. I would if I'm desperate for Love Island. I constantly make myself giggle thinking about either an SNL sketch or a full true series that is Love Island, like single divorcee moms and dads. And everyone's just fucking tired and like has middle-aged bods and is more, is griping as we do about like their health concerns.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would like to see more of, I think that would come along with that type of Love Island.
More penetration.
Well, sure. Yes. I think it would be. And also it's way less like, there's way less emphasis on that just because everyone's kind of been there and, someone might have sex with someone and they'll just be like, ugh, it's no big deal, sort of.
Excuse me? Ugh.
Well, like, yeah,
You think the single middle-aged people are just going to be having sex? So like the after morning conversations are going to be way funnier.
Yes.
Let's do one.
Yeah. And then I also think, there's going to be the mom who literally just signed up for the show so she could sleep, like rest. She's just sleeping. And then I also think, wait, where was I going with this? The sex. Oh, the thing that is lacking in this season of Love Island that I guess has always been lacking, but I've never noticed it. And you made a comment about it last night. And I guess this isn't any spoilers as to who's with who or what's with what if people are watching it. If you're not watching it, this is probably really boring. But is when everyone chats and pulls each other for a chat, all they're talking about is like, do you find me hot?
Yeah.
And if so, like, should we partner up because I find you hot or I don't find you hot?
Yeah.
That's all it's about. There's no like, if you could have one ice cream flavor for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Right.
Or like, what's the best gift you've ever received? Or what's your favorite child? Where do you come from?
It was from my ex-wife.
I guess it was the gift of twins from her.
She left me last year for...
Say it.
I don't know, for someone.
Our accountant is always...
Oh, that's pretty dope. But listen, we do need to do our due diligence. I mentioned I saw that article. There is the show MILF Manor. I don't think that's for us because that one sounds gross.
Gross.
But there is an HBO...
Wait, what network is it on?
TLC. The Learning Channel. Yeah, no, they rebranded 8 years ago. It's not the Learning Channel anymore.
They're putting out fine quality content. I'm on board.
There is one on HBO Max that is sort of what you're saying. It is divorced middle-aged people, and their kids are like on the show too, helping them pick and helping them decide who they should date and stuff.
MILF Mansion?
No, MILF Manor is the kids are dating the moms. MILF Manor is a gaggle of middle-aged hot moms, and then all their 25-year-old sons, and the sons are dating moms. It's a lot more fucked up.
Can I ask you something? The thing that you just described on HBO Max, does that exist?
Yeah. So we should check that out. But I think it actually came out 2 years ago. So I don't know if
I just want to say this right now.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, will you turn the timer on?
Sure.
Thing?
Ooh.
I, as a writer of premium content, I mean, I stand by that. It's not, As a writer of television,
Yeah.
I abhor the space that this reality junk is taking up and stealing from quality. This is a real thing, Andy. And also, there's like an impending writer's strike.
Okay.
Well, last time there was a writer's strike, that's when like reality kind of took hold. It's when Keeping Up with the Kardashians, all of this stuff in 2000, I think it was 2008. So, I'm just saying this publicly.
Mm-hmm.
I find reality television grotesque.
Okay. Okay. I think we all hear you loud and clear. I don't know why you had to qualify that as we were just singing the praises of our favorite show on television, Love Island UK. The HBO
It's not my, by the way, my favorite, it's my current, if we're talking about current programming, yes, that's my favorite. I would never say Love Island UK is my favorite show on television. Would you say that?
Wait. My favorite show on television right now is
Right Now. You left off the right now.
That we're watching. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like when Succession comes back for a new season, maybe. I'm kidding. The show on HBO Max. You know what? And we should. Listen, we got a lot of Love Islands to watch, but maybe after that we'll check it out. It's called My Mom, Your Dad. It follows a group of single parents who have been nominated by their college-age kids for a second chance at love. I think it's a lot more.
But they're not in a villa. Like, I want these people in
I
a
don't
villa
know.
in
No.
bikinis. Oh, dude. That's what I want. I want sunburns. I want the dads.
Oh, can you imagine my sunburns?
I want, the new mom who they pull in a week into it, like, welcome, Nancy and Jason.
Yeah.
And they come in and they're just like haggard, tired.
No. Well, here's I love what you're saying, the idea. That's so funny. But everybody would be trying really hard is the reality of it.
I don't know.
You think, that would be great casting if there was like the woman that's like, yeah, I'm going to wear a bikini, but like, I don't.
I want to be asleep.
Like, I'm not going to be like spending a lot of time on stuff, And the producers are like, absolutely, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And then you have the moms that are trying real hard.
Yes, and you got to love a mom who's trying hard for anything.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on from Love Island. We could get.
Did you have any friends who had like really hot moms that it was a problem? I didn't in my immediate circle. No offense to any of my immediate circle.
Jesus Christ.
No. Wait, this is what I'm going to clarify here. This will make more sense. That sounded horrible. I can remember, and I'm not going to name names, but it was like a kid in another grade who had a mom that was like the movie star. Just like...
Demi Moore?
No. It wasn't a real movie star.
Oh, okay. Because in your school, you never know.
You never know. But was just like so ridiculously attractive in a movie star comical way, looked like she could be 10 years older than her kid. And I can remember me not even knowing that kid that really well, but the culture that comes around it by like his friends and whatnot, it must have been kind of hard and kind of annoying, if you're that kid. So shout out to all the kids out there.
Or do you love it?
I'm thinking more so it's a burden than a gift. I think for some, maybe a gift.
If the kid's like really nerdy and like socially awkward and doesn't have much social currency.
Oh, your mom's so hot.
That probably is like a feather in your cap.
Is it though?
Like at least
or are you
I got
embarrassed
that.
about it?
Probably both, but anyway, okay. No, I'm trying to think if now I'm going to offend all of my friends.
I can't think of a single.
I had a lot. I mean, there's a very different thing, I think, from what you're talking about. I had a lot of friends whose mothers were very beautiful. Actually, one of my friends, Sarah, my friend Sarah, her mom is so like stylish and elegant. And
but you don't know that when you're 15.
When you're 15, it's just like, those are their moms. A lot of friends' moms who I'm like, were really pretty. But to be the like hot mom,
Like
I don't think
like when
that
we were
existed
kids,
for
like
me.
the Pamela Anderson mom, right? The like pinup mom,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, that wasn't
Where
around.
it's like now, like I would cast you on the MILF dating show.
No,
like,
you would not.
I would love to cast you
well,
on the MILF
this
dating
is
show.
this is where I get to. I think you see me in a way that is so out of touch with reality, where I am, and I love it, and I don't want that. I don't want those glasses to come off.
I'm not wearing glasses.
But, you know, there's no, and I say this from experience because when I was 20, I was trying to be an actor. And basically back then, if you're 20 years old, you better look like Pamela Anderson or like you back then, or you better look like a Baywatch babe. Like that. It's so weird because I'm like, I know there were other parts for 20-year-olds. Like, where were those? How come that wasn't even available? It was like, you either are the hot girl or you're not being cast. And to say I never got an audition, like I never got, and like I never got even close. And I used to go to these, I had these friends from acting classes and we'd go to cafes and sit there and I'd make lists of like action items I was going to do every week. And it was like, I'm going to send out 50 headshots every single week to every agent in town.
Yeah.
I'm going to every manager. I'm going to do like, there was this newspaper called Backstage where it had like indie and non-SAG and non-union listings for acting gigs. I'm going to scour Backstage every day. I mean, I got into some dicey auditions.
To say more.
Where, well, you shouldn't like this. They were.
I don't know. You listen. You made a look. Your look was confusing. Might have to rewind the tape on that. Your look said a lot of things. Like, anyways, go on.
Like in hindsight, I'm like, so many of those situations I got into were yucky feeling.
Oh, okay.
And, there's a huge spider. It just went under your desk.
Fuck?
It just went under your
what to
desk.
do.
Wait, it's on.
Do I need to stand up?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Okay. Well, now it's probably gone. It's on,
By the keyboards?
but on the top part underneath.
But of keyboards.
But the top part. So it crawled down.
this thing.
No.
Oh, Jesus, forget it. I'll get bit by a spider. This is.
Okay, it was huge. It was huge.
It's underneath here?
Underneath the next one up. The next.
Underneath this?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. Let's just keep going. I'll let you know if anything's coming to get you.
Great.
So, like, there's this whole seedy underbelly that we've talked about.
Yeah, yeah.
But, you know, people would list stuff in Backstage. So it's like very back then, like porn adjacent, you know, where it's someone, what they're setting out to do. Oh my God, this is making me think about this thing I watched this week.
Let me know if my nose is running so much that it looks ridiculous.
Gross.
Just let me know for the...
Do you have tissue?
I don't.
Okay.
But let me know. Can you acknowledge that?
Is it, you just feel it running?
Just let me know if at any point in time you look up during
I'll let
this
you know. Don't
and
worry.
It look, okay, thanks.
Okay. Like I let you know about your ears yesterday.
We can circle back to that in a moment. Finish your story.
Whatever. What was I even talking about?
I don't know, like casting couch culture.
But this is a long way of saying you see me in a certain light. Thank God. Thank the Lord above.
Yep.
And I don't think that's the light that I am perceived by others. I don't think I think, and I really enjoy, the thing that makes me giggle is like me walking into the villa and everyone literally going, what's going on? Like, what is happening? Who is this? Because it's like only really stunningly beautiful, you know. I'm not dissing myself.
But I think we are talking about two different things. And I hope this solidifies what I was talking about with the hot mom to the 15-year-old boys, is I think both you and me, now being in our 40s, we could appreciate dropping our kids off, let's say at drop-off at school. We can see all the beautiful parents, right? That when you would be 15 would never be on your radar.
Of course.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
But when you're 15, it's a very specific beauty that a mom would have to have for you to be the kid that had the hot mom at school.
But I also think it's kind of I guess I'm thinking of some like really kind of like hippie natural beauties, or like, you know, someone who probably goes to Morocco a lot or something. But
in what scenario is this now?
I'm thinking about like current day, if you're talking about a MILF where there's a 15-year-old who's like, wow, that mom's so hot in a natural way. But back when we were kids,
I don't think the 15-year-old, I don't know. I don't know if that's the scenario that's happening.
but this
right
is what I'm saying
Okay.
is, let me say it.
Mm-hmm.
Back when we were kids, like you're saying the Pam Anderson type, that's also someone who's trying to be the MILF.
Yeah.
Like you're adopting this kind of yucky, like I'm hot to everyone, even like young people.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
kind of yucky versus it's like an Arrested Development thing where you're, you know.
To be clear, that's not what I'm was talking about with the example in my head.
Okay. Case she's listening.
I just thought you had it going on. That's all. Hey, that being said, though, just to make it abundantly clear, though, if we could go back now to all the moms when we were growing up, we'd be like, oh my God, everyone was so beautiful. You know?
Yeah.
I just want to make that
Every
up.
single last one of them.
Well, not every single one of them, but you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah. So I watched the first few episodes of this docuseries, Gunther's Millions. And it is the craziest shit. I really recommend people watching it. It's not even that well done of a documentary, but I guess it is
Is it?
in the way like the information's laid out.
Is it in the style? What was that recent Netflix documentary where it's like it almost feels like they feel like trashy now? Like, is it a Netflix documentary where they're like
Yeah, I think it
salacious
is.
and like
Yeah, but this
memey
one
almost?
This one, it just is salacious. And what made me think of it is I'm going to do a big spoiler.
Okay, so how far should people, scroll ahead if they don't want to have the spoiler?
3 minutes. 5 minutes.
38 minutes.
Okay. This documentary is wild. And it's about... Actually, I'm not going to do a spoiler. There's so much to be gleaned from this. But basically, it's about this eccentric man. There was this like countess who was a billionaire, and she basically left her inheritance to her dog, her German Shepherd. And her best friend was charged with taking care of this dog. But the dog has to be like lavished with everything
Good
they want.
meals?
Like the dog has 28 employees.
What?
Yes.
For real?
So then the best friend dies and her son takes over. And so now he's in his 60s and he's this like eccentric character.
Is he in the will via his mom or via the original lady?
Yeah, not the original.
How it was laid out?
The mom transferred the estate, like caretaking to him.
Okay.
So he's charged with, but basically, and the way he talks about it is like he is doing everything for this dog. Like the dog loves to be on a boat. So he bought this like insane yacht.
And when you say that, do they have footage of
Yes.
the dog? And let me ask you this. Does the dog legitimately love being on a
The
boat?
dog seems happy. I'm not
you're
gonna
like,
lie.
fuck yeah,
Like, the
he's living his
dog-
best dog life.
The dog seems happy.
Okay.
It gets so fucking weird. Like this dog's name is Gunther. This man and his wife have a kid. They name him Gunther.
That take care of.
The Countess. I'm revealing too much because there's so many twists and turns. I just want people to watch it. But this is one of the things that he is able to twist and turn. That like the dog wants happiness. Like the dog wants to be around happy people, and so he basically has put all of this money into quote unquote researching and studying happiness. And then this like
Jesus.
takes 7 more steps to
How much money do these people have?
like 400, I think it was 400 million, like 100 or 80 years ago or something. So it's an insane amount of money.
So this has been, the original death was a long time ago?
Yes. And so Gunther's offspring. So it keeps transferring to Gunther's perfect offspring.
Hold on.
So there's like, we're on Gunther number 8 or something.
Oh, it's new dogs.
New dogs.
Whoa.
So it turns into this study of happiness where he starts casting these people. But I was thinking of Eckhart Tolle the whole time because
Bet you were.
his like standards of what makes someone happy are so fucked up and so actually the opposite. And it's like beautiful, like gorgeous beauty.
Wait, is this the dog's list of what makes the dog happy, or what the owner thinks the dog makes?
It really is all the guy. This is all the guy. The guy is justifying all of this for the dog.
Beautiful dogs or beautiful people around the dogs?
Beautiful, happy people who don't have who are wealthy, who have not a care in the world, who aren't in any monogamous relationships and can just fuck each other, and who like to sing, and so originally it started as this band because Gunther loves music, but none of these people are musicians or can have any talent whatsoever.
But is this an excuse for the guy to have
Yes.
hot single people around?
And also to just watch them. And he hires this other man whose job is to do research and just watch them and write down notes and stuff.
Watch the people or the dog?
The people.
Wait, is
I know,
is he
Andy,
doing
this is
research
so
on
crazy.
happiness for the people
Oh, we're
or for
already
the dog?
5 minutes in. Okay. There are no more spoilers, really. But what I'm going to say...
Why'd you watch this without me? I'm getting angry just thinking about this. This sounds so awesome.
Andy, I will rewatch it with you. It is that bonkers. I'm not giving away any spoilers to say. I thought I was flashing back to my younger days because these people, these actors are going to these auditions and it's totally what the fuck am I auditioning for? But they're so desperate and I connect to that desperation.
But are these people at least getting, put yourself in those shoes, I don't know, 20 years ago. That's still a crazy, if you get that gig, you're like, I'm getting paid how much for this? It would be, for you in particular, it would be a great story for you to be able to tell later. This is a good, weird audition.
Well, yes.
Or maybe not. Do they
Andy,
have to fuck each other or something?
Yeah, things get dark. This is what I'm saying. It's not at the audition. At the audition, they're like, I'm auditioning to what now exactly? We're going to be this super group.
How many people?
It was originally 4, then it was the Magnificent 5.
How old are they?
They're all early 20s. They're all beautiful, and it's all just basically who this guy wants to fuck.
And how old is the guy at this point?
Probably 50.
And what number Gunther are we on?
I don't know.
And is the Gunther, what do they call that? The bloodline, has it stayed intact?
Allegedly, but I'm saying too much. Don't worry
But
about
is it a good-looking German Shepherd is all I want to know.
Yes, great looking.
And they have the money, they train these dogs
Andy,
well?
can I go back to this audition?
Do they train the dogs, though? I just want to know. Is it a well-behaved boy? Is it a good boy? Is it a good boy?
A very good boy.
Are they all
They're
studs or are they bitches? Does it change?
So Gunther, actually, the dog, bought Madonna's old house in Miami.
Okay.
And it was a big, the news networks were all very intrigued. But then all of these gorgeous people started living there. And it just gets really weird. This reminded me of there were so many auditions like that where I'm like, what is this? And
yeah.
Would I have to take off my clothes? Well, no, but we would like to see you in a bikini, stuff like that, where you're just pass. But also sometimes I would not pass because I was so desperate just for anything. And then that's why I started doing stand up, because I just wanted to put myself on stage. I started going up at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
But anyway, I recommend this documentary.
Damn,
it
sounds
gets
good.
so weird.
That's crazy.
Okay.
I wanted to. Can we talk about? We were talking the other night. Wait. I feel like I had something else I wanted to ask you.
Can you please talk about the aliens? Because I feel like our somebodies and nobodies have been waiting.
Oh yeah, now I feel like it's not even going to be a good update. Let me click on that link. It was just that.
How about that China balloon?
I don't know why that's so funny to me. Okay. Please stop me if I've already given this nugget of information. I don't think I have because I was so excited to see this, but now I'm feeling like maybe I did. Okay, so the office, remember I was telling you the government put together an office to like look into these sightings and whatnot?
Yes.
And that's why they, confirmed those ones. There have been over 500 official reports of UFO sightings since 2005. And
that does not seem like that many.
Okay. But the majority of them, this is where it gets crazy. This is what I want to share. 350 have been filed since March 2021. So that seems like a lot. 350 since March 2021. Now, when I first saw that, I'm like, oh, of course, because now this is like, it's more in pop culture. Of course, more people are now reporting them because they're hearing the Pentagon saying that video was real and stuff like that. These 350 reports, these aren't from civilians like you and me or crazy folk. These are Navy, U.S. forces, and all that kind of stuff reports.
Well, now let's look at this. Okay, that is interesting.
I know.
But I also think, has this been after the Pentagon? Because I would imagine that there were sightings of unknown things before, but especially in the military, you'd be looked at as like the laughing stock. If you're not going to file that report, and now that it's been kind of validated, I'm sure people feel much more comfortable.
Right. And also, I think you're just nailing it, and I'm really proud of you here, right here.
Okay.
It's because now that there is this task force, if you will, there really is a place.
Oh, I will.
There's a place where these reports can go to, and then people can like really dive in and see if like, is this a threat, right? Because that's what we're all kind of scared of. We got nice guys in the sky or these bad guys.
And honestly, I'm like, I mean, granted, obviously World War II was, I'd say things were much more destabilized, but like right now, I mean, if aliens are going to attack, it seems like we're cooking towards a good time. Things feel very destabilized.
It
right
would
now.
be nice for the upshot. It would bring the world together. I feel like we would come together.
Would we? I don't know. You know what? The pandemic sure didn't.
I don't know. I feel like we would come together.
That's optimistic and
Yeah.
nice. I hope so.
Let me tell you one last fact, just because it's jumping out at me. So of those like 350 in the last year or two, half of them were sent to this agency and they were accounted for. They figured them out. Like 163 were balloons. 26 were uncrewed aircraft. I'm guessing that might be like drones or something like that. But 171 still remain unexplained. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, the thing I wanted to talk about, because I told you,
By the way, it's always assumed that they're going to come from the sky.
I just got chills. God, you are on one today, and I love it.
But like,
What are you talking?
I'm like, it could be holograms that all at once, like
Oh, you
all
lost me.
all these people walking and like, zzz, like people are just appearing, walking like it's like, psh, alien number 47, you're going to be walking down Park Avenue West, like, zzz, and then it's just a guy walking along who looks just like us, and,
Yeah.
or I don't know. Like there's
See what when I got chills, what I got excited about, I was thinking more like all of
Water.
a sudden. Well, of course, at first I went to water and ocean, yeah, but then I went a little crazier in like 15 seconds in my head of like, we don't know what these aliens can do. What if all of a sudden at like a football game, all of a sudden just crazy shit starts coming out of the field and sucking football players into the field?
Oh.
You know?
Oh.
Like who knows what's
Right,
possible
right,
with
right,
these
right.
aliens?
Yeah. It does seem a little like basic to be like, oh, they're flying down. I think that if they're coming for us.
Do you think that since you just said that and you do feel, even saying that,
yeah,
like if the aliens are listening, they're like, oh, fuck, she's smart. She knows what's up. Does that mean that you will be spared, or do you think you'll be one of the first to get? You seem likable. You're charming.
I don't know.
Let's talk about how charming you are for real quick. We went to a party, a barbecue.
Oh, I want to talk about that.
Great. We got invited to a barbecue of one of the former leave the car on my, lift a note on my car suspects.
Possibilities. The one that we were like, I would be devastated if it turns out it would be them.
And one of the ones that we flat out asked.
Yes.
And listeners that have been on this journey with us, someone left a note on my car that said, park in front of your house. And we're like, who left this note that doesn't want me parking in this area?
Yes. And getting the invite to this barbecue was like such a nice, real warm fuzzies, like really thrilled.
Yeah. So we're about to walk out to the barbecue, and I look at Elizabeth and I go, I'm going to bring the note just in case there's some other suspects there.
Oh
and Elizabeth was like, that's not even funny. Don't even make that joke. You can't bring the note. But then as we're walking over there, she goes, you know what, though? You might be able to. Wait, just say
I'm
what
so
you
nervous
just
about.
say what you said I could do.
I'm nervous about putting this out. Like I would die if any.
I know.
If any of these people ever got wind of this.
I know.
Okay.
But say what you said, because I was like, oh, that's smart.
Okay, so there was one other suspect
That we were like, maybe he'll be there.
Really don't think is the guy, but he could be at this barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
And he was.
Yep.
And I said to Andy, you know what you could do? And the reason we don't think it's him is because he parks there too. And it's also not in front of his house.
It would be bonkers.
It would be bonkers. And we've kind of ruled him out. But Andy, of course, wants to get to the bottom of this. And I said, you could say to him.
Was this on the way to the party or at the party?
At the party. I pulled you aside.
You pulled me aside. I couldn't believe you did that. And I love you so much for it.
Yeah. I just said, you could say to him, hey, has anyone ever left a note on your car? Because I got this weird note, and I know you parked there too.
Yeah.
And it was such a good way in. However, this environment was too fraught to bring up this. It was a great environment. I don't mean that. I just mean I was so glad you didn't bring it up at all, because I would have been humiliated if the barbecue host, who we have already asked about this months ago,
heard us asking more people about it. Yeah, you'd be like, well, that's insane. Here's what's so crazy about it. We had such a fun time at the barbecue.
Great time.
I swear to you, I almost had my in to ask, because right before we left, I'd circle back to this guy and was hanging out with him and chatting with him more. In my window, I could see it opening. Like it was
it's too
there.
risky though. It was too risky.
But then all of a sudden you were like, okay, I think it's time to go. And you like
I whisked
saddled
us
up next to
away.
me with the kids. And then
okay, I want to talk about that.
Okay, I want to talk about your charm there too.
Go ahead.
But
Carry
do you
on.
want to, which part? Well, let's stay
Please,
here.
carry on with the charm.
Okay. I just thought you were so charming there, and I just love to see it. We were talking to someone about some college stuff, and you just off the rip are like, I did so much ecstasy in college, which I thought was really funny.
Okay. Wow. That's what you liked?
No,
By the way, there was context to it. I didn't just come. Although
but in such a charming way, it was hilarious, and I just thought it was so funny and hilarious.
Oh, that's
I didn't set up the story enough,
yeah.
But you were really charming, and then over when those people were teaching our young kids how to play beer pong, you were so funny. That was really funny.
That was funny. It was water. There was just water, but. Here's what I wanted to talk about. I had so much fun, and I truly enjoyed all of those people, and I hesitate to say this, but this is something I've noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's something I want to be aware of, and I want to handle better.
Oh.
But, a couple people at that barbecue were so sweet and kind of took our kids upon them, and there were some yard games going on, and they took them to play, and then we go over, and they're such sweet people, and they're younger than us, and it was really fun and nice.
Yeah.
However, the topic of weight came up, and weight loss this drug that people are taking now that I read an article about and how bad it is.
Yeah.
And it came up, and I hadn't read the article, actually. I read a headline.
Did you read the article post?
No, I haven't read it.
Oh, okay.
But I was I instantly was trying to take the tact of it's bad. This drug that people are taking that's meant for diabetes, but people are taking it for weight loss or whatever.
Yeah.
But one of the women there was oh, well, is it and kind of being cheeky and funny about it is a perfectly good conversation for adults to have.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I realized playing it back in my mind.
Yeah.
The message going to our kids, particularly our daughter, about how the ideal the goal is to not gain weight when you're older. Because we were talking a lot about as you age, weight gain. And there was one guy who's in the medical field who's it's just activity level. Metabolism doesn't change that much, blah, blah, blah. And, but everyone's talking about it. And with the underlying agreement that we have all entered via social contract, that thinness is preferred to gaining weight.
Right.
Which is a problem for young people to hear. That is not right.
Yeah.
And I kind of regret any of my participation. I mean, I don't think I said anything.
Because of our kids being in proximity, maybe?
Yeah, I wish I had spoken up more about how in a nice way, in a non-judgmental way of being aren't we past all of that? I thought that, are celebrities really doing that? I did say historically, people taking drugs for weight loss has never ended well.
Yeah,
I said fen back then, and I think in the 20s there's
always
this
something
drug,
crazy.
It was speed, basically, that doctors are prescribing and saying it's harmless, and then we find out 10 years later, oh, it actually causes XYZ.
I think that's really cool that you're in tune to that. And what's interesting is I do think that you did ingest some of that into the conversation. And also, I don't think just this particular conversation, I don't think would be that damaging for kids to hear.
I don't know.
It is all exponential, right? It all piles up.
Yes, of course it could be worse, where people are just she's fat, and so she doesn't exist in my mind or something. But I looked at Teddy during that, and she's a sponge, and the underlying, I mean, the good part about it is that I want to have a conversation with her about that, as she's getting to an age where friends are starting to go through puberty even, and I want to have a conversation about body positivity. And so, and then the other comment made, which again I'm in front of her, was we were talking about pickleball, and it was a totally innocent comment.
Oh, yeah.
And someone said, I mean, I hate to admit it, but the men are usually better than the women, and they blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I'm these messages, we have to do better.
What's so interesting, I think it's really interesting how you picked up on both of those. And I picked up on both of them but in slightly different ways.
Yeah. How so?
Okay, we'll get to the pickleball second. The first thing, what I found the most interesting, and I just don't think I had my parent hat on enough to like, I wasn't thinking of the kids of it all. What I found so interesting was the people that we were having a conversation with were, I don't know, 15 years younger than us, maybe even more.
13 at most, and then like 9 or 10.
Okay. But like all, yeah, we're talking like late 20s or early 30s.
Yeah.
And all like very attractive, very fit, like, what?
Would have been cast on Love Island
Could be
some point.
cast on Love Island. But no, what I found so interesting was even them being, I feel like they are like a slightly different generation than us almost, or they felt far away from us.
Yeah.
Right. But I was like, oh, it's so interesting that
they're millennials.
That they were talking about that stuff in that way. That's what I found striking.
Because I assume that anyone who's even like more than 3 years younger than us is kind of evolved.
Yeah.
But, you know, we were talking to that guy about when I brought up my ecstasy days of college. Like, I went to UC Santa Barbara. I think it's now like harder to get into. It's much more kind of academic.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. But I also think that there's been this generational shift. Like when we went to college, it was totally like gross college shenanigans where it's like unbelievable that like any, especially women, made it out of there unscathed. Like, I mean, and many didn't. Like, just really messed up stuff happening and putting yourself in harm's, as I said, did ecstasy all the time.
Right.
But I think, not that partying doesn't happen, but I think that there's like a level of responsibility and maturity amongst kids today. And I'm so curious about, like, I was kind of hypothesizing as to why that is.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if some of it has to do with like social norms kind of being broken, and kids today are like encouraged to express their feelings more. And they're, I don't know. It's not this like, once you go to college, you go fucking crazy. You know, it's, I mean,
now
our
it's
kids,
like,
I want to be like, you can have a glass of wine with us when you're 16, and it's not going to be this alcohol is this, you know, whatever. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Yeah, no, it's different. I think it's just, it's evolved in a way that is so different than what we experience. But I was also a little shocked at like, oh, but these people are talking about things that we might have talked about, sort of. I don't know. It was just interesting. But then I think even, so if those are millennials, what are the younger people than Gen Z? Mm-hmm. Gen Z, though, I feel like is so different. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I don't know. Because I sometimes get to spend time with Gen Z people. Yeah. And it does feel like a big shift. But I think I've also talked about it on this podcast. I'm then sometimes surprised about some of the Gen Z isms where I'm like, that seems wildly un-PC and wildly unwoke. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's, I don't know, we're getting old. But I had an interesting, with all of this, I had an interesting situation of, I don't know why I feel weird. Now I'm like worried that someone would hear the show that we were talking about.
We just can we can never like let our podcast identity.
I know,
be known.
that's
we
seriously.
have to remain anonymous with our neighbors.
I had an interesting interaction with somebody that they brought up an athlete and they were like, they're now trans. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. And I think was kind of bringing it up in a way like, isn't that kind of crazy? And I was just like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, who are they? And the person kept misgendering them over and over and over. And I was curious about this particular sport. So in the moment I looked them up and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I'm like, whoa, they're sponsored by Nike. Wow.
Oh, that's great.
And I was trying to be like, this is awesome. Right.
Yeah.
But instead of being like, hey, you shouldn't keep misgendering over and over, I was just almost just trying to normalize
Yeah.
the other thing where it's like maybe I should have said something, but also how it came up in the circumstance didn't make sense. I was like, I think the best thing for me to do right now is just be like,
I think that's exactly right. I will say I was in a situation I was like in a situation with a bunch of women. We all like across the board support trans rights and are all very open-minded. And the person, I mean, it's kind of also like adopting a new mindset. I mean, I understand why for older people it's hard to understand the pronouns and stuff like that. This is a new thing.
Totally.
You have to have some grace with people.
Yeah.
I think if someone's misgendering to make a point, then that's different. But if you're just kind of stumbling on it, and in this group of women, there was someone who identified as they, them, but also we, us, which was new to me.
Yeah.
And I kind of like, I didn't actually stumble on it that much, but I watched other people.
Yeah.
And this person in I'm just going to say like a kind of annoying way kept correcting in like.
Oh, the person that it was or someone else?
Okay. Well, the person that it was, I think it's fine for them to correct.
Yeah.
But there was someone else who kept correcting
for
in this
other
way.
people.
And then also on top of that, you know, we were talking about like Roe v. Wade and stuff like that. And instead of saying women, it was like womb body was the phrase used.
Yeah.
And which I appreciated. Like, I think that's a good thing to acknowledge out the gate. But also when someone said like women, like there was so much correcting going on that I feel like it was counterproductive to what we were there to do. So I think the right thing is, unless someone's saying outright, you know, like, this is disgusting or whatever, then I think you played it exactly right to just show your support and enthusiasm for this person.
Yeah, I was like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And instead of like, I think they were bringing it up, and I don't know exactly how they were bringing it up, but I don't think they were bringing it up in a way. I think to them it was maybe more interesting, where I was trying to be like, oh, this is cool. This is progress.
But
I also think, and I'm saying this as a white 40-year-old guy, I would assume that many trans people unfortunately get misgendered from time to time. But if it happens with someone that's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't like that, they're not super offended, right? Like if it happens on accident and the person either corrects themselves or
right.
I mean, that's irrelevant, but
look at us talking about this.
But you know, I will say one interesting thing with all of this is just the language of it all. And as we've grown up, we've seen different words and language fall out of vogue or become offensive.
Vogue. Speaking of language. Yeah.
But okay. I think that happens at a faster clip now, right?
Yeah.
Like that, it's a little bit harder to keep up with, maybe.
God, we're so old.
And it's also like, it is such a big generational problem. That's why I say this over and over. I'm just going to look to our kids for like, just tell me.
Yes. Tell us how to be. Tell us what to do.
What I can say, what I can't say. Who should I vote for? Like all of it. Because like, have you noticed, I would say, I've seen like the R word coming back more in comedy.
Yes,
but it's like, what is that about? It's very, like, you know what I mean? It's
I
like,
just experienced this. Oh my gosh. Okay. And the R word, I am so put off by.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually have never heard someone in my personal life use the N word, or like, I don't think.
Oh, no, I feel like we have.
Oh, wait. Yes, we have. And I did speak to it.
Didn't we on like a flight or something? Or post getting off of a plane?
Oh, did we? I don't know.
So. Yeah, it's really bad.
Well, I've heard it in the sense of like someone rapping to a song who does not have access to that language.
Sure.
And said something about it, and
Yeah.
then we carried on. But like, but that I think, but the R word I've heard a lot, and to me, I'm just like, I don't know. To me, it's just like these other words. I don't want to compare.
Yep.
But I'm so put off by it. And it's been a joke in parts of my life of people like using it because they know I'm so put off by it.
Oh, interesting.
Where was I? Oh,
Yeah.
I was getting coffee up by the cabin.
Okay.
And I will also say, like, the mountain folk up there is like a different brand, and I'm not of them, and like I'm aware of it. Like when I'm going to the local coffee place, I'm like, this is different, and I'm an outsider, and like I'm trying to be very respectful or whatever.
They're like, look at this city slicker.
So, but the like thing, the iPad wasn't working for charging people.
Okay.
And the girl comes over super nice, and it totally like took me by such surprise, because she was like, I'm so sorry for the wait. This thing is being R.
Yeah.
And I literally like flinched. I was like,
Yeah.
and then, I mean, of course I didn't say anything. Like, this is, I don't know, but I'm just like, you're right. This word has come back.
No, well, it's
what
like,
the fuck?
But what's crazy is I don't think that we have any commentary that's of any super value of us weighing in on this right this second. But I'm curious, 5 years from now, you'll see what I mean here. Like, were we in this crazy window, this like tiny age bracket where it became super offensive, and then outside of our little window, did somehow that word come back, and then it's going to become devalued almost? Because I'm like, why are all these young people saying it so much now? Do you know what I mean? It's really wild. Like, it just doesn't compute to me.
Have any of like the artists you're working with said it, or?
Yeah. Oh, I've definitely heard it in the studio.
And do you say anything? I mean,
No, not in that particular case.
I know. It's like, but
it's a weird, it's super weird.
it is. It's a tough one.
Well,
on that note,
that was fun chatting with you.
It was a good chat. We have good banter.
That's another Love Island shout out.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week. We're actually going to just kind of keep this convo going.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I don't think we'll revisit this part of the conversation.
No. If you, for some reason, hear this next episode and I'm still sounding like I might have snot running out my nose, and you see video clips where
it's because we're doubling up.
We might be doubling up for a reason. Okay, cool.
Okay. Well, good night.
Good night.